5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync. Hello and welcome to the BrickFeed Podcast.
Yay!
I'm John.
I'm Var.
I'm Meso.
And I'm Prpl.
And this is BrickFeed Podcast episode 77, recorded the week of November 2nd, 2017.
Yay! Nobody wants to be here.
Who cares?
Today, okay,
John,
listen.
you're like really sensitive when it comes to the BrickFeed intro. I don't know what it is. You need to chill, bro.
It's because everyone ragged on me that one time when we first did the pitch episode for BrickFeed.
I remember.
And since then, remember that? It wasn't even that bad. You guys are just
I
jerks about it.
remember being on your side for that. I remember being like, I don't know
Yeah,
why
no,
we're
to be
ragging
fair.
about this.
It was pretty bootleg.
To be fair, Var
Not
was
really.
on my side, so.
Not really. I don't.
It was-
I,
it-
to
it
this
wasn't.
day, I don't understand what people had a problem with.
Yeah.
Just stiff.
The
What?
music? Or
What?
No, it's
What
like,
was stiff about it?
to be fair, I remember those were my words back then. I don't remember 77 episodes word for word what you said. I just remember it being very... It's like how you guys always used to say I was very stiff and lifeless on the TTV podcast. Like,
No,
all
you
right,
weren't
well,
stiff
it's
on the
time to
podcast.
move on
You
to
didn't
the
care
news.
at all. You
Time
sounded
to
like
go to the news.
you sounded very much
Dead.
like you do nowadays. when we
Hello,
st-
guys. Welcome
Actually,
to
I was going to say, that
BrickFeed.
sounds like the
before we
podcast now.
before we moved the time back when we were doing the TTV podcast on Saturdays, Meso, you sounded like you were dead to the world and didn't want to live anymore. You'd be like, "All right, guys, welcome back to the TTV podcast."
Unless I had
I'm
a
messing
passionate
act.
topic to argue about.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it was, dude. I don't know. Stiff is not the word I'd use. I thought it was. I mean, it was like
lifeless?
no. I'm still
Dead.
I'm talking about John again. I don't think it was stiff or lifeless. I think it was fine.
No, it might have been a little awkward because my first time hosting, but no more than it. Like I feel it is for even like general. There's some podcast intros that are better than others. Here's a second thing why I'm also so like sensitive about the podcast starting is because none of it's on recording. Like generally speaking, I'm fine with almost anything as long as we get it recorded because then that's content and we can use it later. Whenever it's not content, then it's just annoying. So.
Sorry, we can
that's-
talk outside of recording, John.
That's not the case, though. You get annoyed with me regardless of it being on recording or not.
I do get annoyed with you a lot. We have the most chances to get annoyed with each other. I feel more than anyone else in this company
Probably.
because like we're together more.
Ugh,
We're just stuck
kill
together
me.
just by proximity. I know, dude.
It's gross. It's like a
It'll be way
mucus.
better when I move down next year.
Ugh, gross. Disgusting.
But hey, welcome to the Lego podcast.
This is a
that we have
podcast where
here
we talk
on the
about
TTV
Lego.
channel.
Keyword
This is a
Lego.
panel this is a podcast where we talk about one thing and one thing only. And that's the Lego. Nothing else.
Oh my god, Meso. Ban.
We were actually talking about the licenses Mega Bloks has right now, or Mega Construct.
Constructs with an X.
Lame.
They
Mega
have-
Bloks is better.
Yeah, no, I believe they only changed it because they didn't like the
There was a
connotation.
stigma. Yeah, there's a stigma.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate, but there was one. We should change TTV. There's a stigma with TTV right now.
oh, dude, I want to change TV so badly. I was thinking back when Lego nearly shut down our channel, I was like, what if we just named our channel like BrickFeed? And just slowly kind of like
Got rid of TTV
like we were going to do
entirely?
originally. Just get rid of TTV
I feel like
entirely.
Lame.
there'd be just a big identity crisis. There's like TTV is just too ingrained into my
Zip
mind.
brand.
Yeah.
It totally is. I mean, like, I like the brand. I just don't like what other people have to think about the brand.
Meanwhile, everyone
Over
in the
time.
sponsor
Stupid
chat is saying
leakers.
BrickFeed is a terrible name. You know what's a terrible name? Frickin' Krazix. Krazix is a terrible name.
Nice
That's
shout
a
out.
pretty terrible name.
Yeah, that's how it feels. That's how it feels to have your name be called terrible.
I mean, I wasn't saying Var was terrible.
Yeah, but
the
you
same
said the
thing.
BrickFeed was terrible. That's
Did
like
you
it's
even
not
come up
my
with
name,
BrickFeed?
but like that's like insulting my baby's name. You know, I still like
Var,
It's-
let's be real, you won't have babies.
if it.
What's that supposed to be?
Whoa. Whoa.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
I
what
mean-
if
Like
he already has a baby?
Yeah, it's my goal to have babies so that I can teach them the colors backwards.
No.
It will
I always
happen.
forget that's a thing, but
Well,
I'm
like,
very
imagine-
confident you will.
I think Var, you should adopt, even if you can't have like kids. You know, like as a thing, you should just still.
Yeah,
just
you're
get,
right.
like,
Orphans
adopt a
are
kid.
definitely the best experiment subjects for sure. I think
Right,
that's
because, I mean,
a good
listen,
place
their
to start.
Their lives are already going to be like they're already orphans, right?
Right.
What else going to happen to
They're
them?
already rock bottom.
God.
Life's already been bad enough to them. I'm sure having any parent will be nice.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I just thought of the
Oh, no.
greatest
Okay.
thing ever. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
boy.
scared.
so I'm gonna
Right.
adopt an orphan. He's gonna be my
Okay.
kid, right? My favorite
All right.
child.
Are you gonna start a YouTube channel, Daddy One?
No.
Daddy,
No!
What I'm gonna do?
Reference.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy him some Mega Constructs toys every Christmas, every
Right.
birthday. I'm gonna buy him,
Right.
get him a gift, some Mega Constructs,
Tell him it's Legos.
and I'm gonna tell him it's Lego.
Oh, you know, I actually I was with a my roommate's family, or my roommate's sister's family, so her kids. All right, so his nephews. They were talking to me, and like the youngest kid, who's like 6, came up to me, and he built this thing out of like blocks, and he showed it to me, and he said, "Hey, is this Lego?" And I was like, actually, that's Mega Blocks. And he's like, "What?" And then he showed me and everything. He's like, "Is this Lego?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he was like, "What's the difference?" So I showed him like how to tell the difference in plastic, and also like look at the thing to see if it says Lego and stuff. And the dad took me aside and said later, and he said, "So he's like, so Mega Blocks are cheaper, and I also have my own Lego collection." She's like, "You just ruined about 6 years of hard work." I was wanting to transition him about 4 years later, but now he knows.
No,
He's
that-
not, and he's not gonna be happy. No, he was like, "Well, I don't want to play with these anymore. I want to play with the real Lego." And I was like, "Yeah, there you go." But rip that.
Nah, see, I'm like,
budget, I guess.
it's not about cost. It's not about money for me. It's like I want this kid to suffer. So like, I want to make sure that he
Right, of
thinks,
course.
I want to make sure that he thinks the Mega Blocks is Lego. And then like whenever he actually wants to buy like an actual like Lego set, I'm gonna be like, "No, you don't want that. The quality is crap. It's terrible. If you see any other kids at school who's playing with that set, be sure
Bully
to pick on
them.
them because
Yeah.
that is like that's the cheap stuff that the cheap parents get their kids."
It's like programming. Mind
Right.
control program.
You
Yeah,
are a crazy person, Var.
You think that Santa Claus leaves coal, but really he leaves those cheap old crappy building sets. You don't want those. Those are awful. No, you want this. So
man.
I just want to make sure that the kid thinks that this is the quality stuff. And so like one day, like I don't know, he'll be in high school or something, bragging about his blocks collection, right? How it's like the best thing ever, and everybody's like, "What the heck is that?" I was in the Bunkles, and he's like, "Bionicle." What is that?
I
you
love to imagine. Hold on, I love to imagine your
Oh, you
jock
guys
bully kid
didn't live in
who's
my
going
privilege.
around bullying people. I love this kid who's like going around bullying people in high school is like, "Oh yeah, but I got the best Lego collection though." Like those are the two equivalent things that he does.
Block
in
is
his
my
spare
favorite
time.
Lego
He
channel.
bullies kids.
What he's gonna do?
Also bags Lego.
he'll start his own YouTube channel where he talks about all of his favorite Legos and how like
Blockcast.
factually
Oh,
it is.
he has to say Legos too. He has to say
Legos,
Legos
yeah.
as well.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
you people are
For sure.
awful.
Yeah.
It just
Of
This
course,
is the origin
I-
story of that kid in Stranger Things.
Okay, if any of you guys get girlfriends by some miracle, I'm going to warn her about all of
By
this.
some miracle.
By some miracle, she says, as though it hasn't happened already.
Well,
You're
it's
a
not
little late
current.
for that.
Have
Yeah,
you
it's
ever
not
had a
current.
boyfriend, Purple?
No.
If by
That's
some
what I thought.
miracle You get one, then come back.
Literally,
Yeah,
all the
maybe-
rest of us have. What's your problem?
How about
By
we
some
like?
miracle,
I don't
maybe you'll get a
date.
boyfriend.
I don't date. I just-
Oh wow, that's a really
yeah,
easy excuse to have, huh? I mean, I can't have a boyfriend because I don't date.
yeah.
Hardy
Not because
there.
I'm a loser or anything.
Hey man, I've been asked out multiple times before.
Whoa.
Oh, brag
Not
about
or
it.
anything, but
Brag about it. Oh, we're so interested. Nah. This is, of course, going to be after I teach the kid that red is green and green is red. Of course, you know.
Right, of course.
Of course.
Right.
That is just,
Gotta
you
go
know,
on by layers.
So let me ask you this:
Layers,
if he's
exactly.
like looking at the Hulk set, is it gonna be like? Is he still gonna think there's a green Hulk and a red Hulk?
Oh, yeah, he will. They just won't have the
Just like it'll just be the opposite.
Bruce Banner's the red Hulk and Thunderbolt Ross is the green Hulk.
No, actually, no. This might screw it up for you, though. this might actually screw it up for you because Hulk is Hulk, and you're like, sure, you can be like, you can say, oh, the green is red, so he says, oh, okay, that's the red Hulk.
No, what'll happen?
The character called Red Hulk is going to be green.
No. What'll happen is he'll just be really confused. He won't understand that they're like Red Hulk isn't Hulk. He just won't understand that there's a distinction between the two. He's just like,
no. I'm saying that like
talking about Red Hulk.
Red
yeah,
Hulk
I like
will
Red
be
Hulk.
green to be him. Red Hulk will be green to him, but
Yeah.
he'll call it Red Hulk.
No.
You see that?
No, see, he's not going to know this until after he's aged a little bit, right? This is going to be part of that having to learn and deal with society.
Okay, right.
As a kid,
okay.
he's not going to understand that there's even a difference between it. People are going to be like, oh yeah, my favorite character is Red Hulk, right? And he'll be like, oh yeah. And in his mind, he's thinking of normal Hulk, and he's like, yeah, he's pretty cool.
Right.
But like,
no. Okay. Listen, you're still not. Red Hulk's name is Red Hulk.
yeah, I get that.
But
He
the
understands.
actual character,
I understand
listen, the
that.
actual
Unless
character,
a kid pulls out his big Red Hulk figure out of his book bag, he's not going to know the difference.
What
No,
if you
that's what
see
I'm
something
saying.
on
I'm saying if
TV?
you got the Lego set. I'm saying if you get the Lego set, he has Hulk and Red
He's
Hulk.
not going to
And
get
then
any
Red
Lego
Hulk
sets.
is
He's buying Mega Blocks.
and blocks.
Oh my god.
He won't have this happen to him. My plan is foolproof. Don't you dare try to.
Maybe
try to
you're the
I got it.
fool.
No, you got me. You thought of
I
everything.
thought of everything.
You did.
Including the internet where you can just look it up.
Well,
He
look
won't
at
have
you,
access to
this
the
buzzkill.
internet. I'm going to make sure that we run on dial-up and be like, this is the fastest internet.
You are a disgusting person, Mark.
That's the
0.1
coolest thing
Mbps
I've heard.
download speed.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
I'm going to take him to Walmart and we're going to like shoplift and be like, this is how you buy things, kid.
Whoa, that's playing with fire. And also
Whoa,
jail
boy.
time.
Now it's like he's actual criminal acts. Before it was just like,
Well, of course.
It
it's
was
always
just
like,
psychological.
my goal-
Now it's bad.
My goal is to ruin this kid's life and torment him to the point where he no longer even knows how to fix it. It's impossible for him because
I
everything
want to
is
see
backwards.
that Netflix documentary. Like in like 20 years of like this kid, he's like readjusting society. He's like, man, my dad really messed me up. Yeah. He taught me that Lego was Mega Blocks. Mega Blocks is Lego.
Yeah, man.
Oh, boy.
God.
I'll make sure his bed is made of bricks too. And have to sleep in the studs.
No, his floor should be made of bricks. So every day he gets up and he has to step on them to get out of bed.
Like you have
my
to be
God.
able to experience pain so that you can overcome it, son. This is just the way of
I
life.
like
Everybody
it.
does
Character
this.
building.
I am so
builds
scared
character.
for all of you.
Builds character.
Oh my
I want
god.
to build an actual Lego house.
Where does
Purple,
Galore
you
fit in
seem
this?
rather distressed.
Yeah, what's the effect?
I take children seriously, I guess. I don't even
Really?
want
You
to be a
don't wanna
mom
have
or
kids.
anything. I don't want
Yeah.
kids. I also don't want to do this to children.
Why wouldn't you though?
You have to be the change.
Already,
Here's
you
the
know
thing.
you're going to be a better parent
Here's
than
the-
Var. You
children-
already know that.
Children are amazing. Okay. They are the only human beings in the entire planet who unconditionally trust you, which makes them
Sure.
the perfect molding
Var, just
experiment
get
to
another dog.
turn them into psycho killers.
No, but
It's
dogs can't
perfect.
talk. I think if dogs could talk,
Yeah,
I
if
would
dogs could
definitely
talk,
get a
I would
dog.
do this.
I would definitely like teach my
Also,
dog.
a dog
like,
doesn't
sorts of
care.
crazy,
It
weird
doesn't
stuff.
care. Like, after a week, it forgot about the whole situation. But a kid, they will carry that baggage with them for the rest of their life, and that's what I want.
I'm
Maybe-
so
maybe-
glad
maybe
my
we should
mom
have,
is
like-
listening to this.
Oh, she probably.
Maybe we should just get a simulation, Var, like an AI that's supposed to like simulate a kid, and that way you can do it, and it won't be
Just
like.
use the
Robots
Sims,
will be a
Var.
thing in the future. We won't be able to do this
No,
kind
listen.
of stuff.
Yeah, I honestly do think it'll be like that old thing in high school where they give you like the doll, the baby
hated
doll,
that.
and you're
Oh my
paired up.
God.
You're paired up with some girl from your high school, and you have to go and
No, I
like
was
take care
never
of the
paired
doll.
up with anyone.
Oh, you weren't?
No.
Well, never was I. I was homeschooled, but like in theory, that's what I've seen it on TV. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't really happen. You just take care of it yourself.
Oh, okay. I guess they must have stopped doing that.
I think
it's because it's.
We
I
didn't even
think
have
I
actual
was-
dolls. We had balloons that we drew a face on.
So yeah,
Mine died
we
this
didn't
week.
have
What?
dolls or balloons. We had eggs.
Gotta save that
Boy.
budget, dude.
Yeah,
Fucking
so
nasty.
well, the
expensive.
idea, I think you only have to keep it for like a day or something like that. I don't know, but the idea is if the egg is cracked at all, you failed. So like you have to keep it
Just
you have to
don't-
keep it safe.
But like, what does that show you? Like, here's what I would do. I would just leave it in the classroom and then come back a week later.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like people cheated the experiment. You know, it's not like
That's true.
It was
I
like a
just,
thing
like,
where it's
that's
like
true.
if you
No, I mean, like,
if you didn't do the experiment right, you were put to death.
Okay, so in the TV show I saw, I believe it was Gilmore Girls or
If
something.
you don't protect
The
your
TV show I
child,
saw-
we will kill you, the
The
child, the actual child.
the actual child. The doll was like, you could like feed it or like put like stuff in it, and then it would also like pee at one point, and you had to be like make sure it didn't like wet itself. I saw it a long time ago, but like it was like a whole involved thing with the doll. Like the doll was like more than just like
Sounds
a
pretty
just a,
Dude, that's
a
crazy,
random
man.
thing. It was it had all these functions to it, you know, like a. Anyhow,
Was it a
what
Lego
I'm
doll?
getting at is it was
it a
it
Mega
was
Bloks
it was a
doll?
giant minifigure.
Was it a mega
was a giant-
construct doll?
Was it a block stuff?
There are people out there that get triggered by just saying the word mega or the words mega constructs. So
People get triggered by just saying Legos. You know, if you even just
Yeah.
make that
Cared-
slip, you're like Legos.
I was about to say
People-
they care too much, but I get triggered whenever people say Bionicles. Like that
yeah,
one. girl
yeah.
did
Well,
that
I mean
video.
that's a new thing though. Like I didn't know that triggered me until it happened, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
It was like ASMR. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't know that. There was a trigger for me.
It annoys me.
Just recently. Wait, she said it's because Bionicle's heroes. That's the thing.
Bionicle's Heroes is what did it. It's what set it off.
That's yeah.
I
no,
was
because it's
perfectly
like,
fine with Bionicles until Bionicle's Heroes
Right.
happened, and then I'm like, oh, jeez.
Then you're going out of your way. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
like the Legos movie, and you're like,
the
okay,
Legos
now
movie.
Oh
The Legos Ninjagos movie.
Oh my gosh.
Legos Ninjago.
Okay, Bionicles didn't bother me, but Ninjagos, no. Just
Ninjago.
no.
There's someone out there has to say that, by the way. Ninjagos. There are people that do that.
Oh, totally.
I've
All those
never seen that
Ninjagos.
before, I don't think.
I mean, like, I
hilarious.
doubt kids say it, but I'm
mean,
sure
fans
parents
don't,
say
right.
it. I'm sure parents absolutely say it. I got my kid some Ninjagos the other day. He really likes those Ninjagos.
It's like that.
I feel
what's
like they just say ninjas.
No, you'd be surprised. 'cause
No, you'd be
like-
surprised.
You'd be surprised how far they'll go to almost get it right, but just wrong enough to upset
Bless
everyone.
their heart. You know, like probably isn't even parents. It's a grandparent. They're like,
Aw.
do you, Timmy? Do you like watching the Ninjagos on the
Dude,
the
my grandma calls
teleprompter?"
Pokemon Pokemans.
Well,
I
yeah,
just-
There you
Oh,
go.
exactly.
Way
See,
to prove
Pokemon.
the point. I like
That
how
was
you
it.
have a first-hand experience with this and yet somehow still doubt that this would be a thing.
I mean, it didn't click immediately until you said
Prpl,
that.
you're a special case.
Yeah.
You're a special person, Prpl.
I forgot about it, okay? I haven't, thought about that since, I was 10.
You haven't thought about your grandma?
No,
Good
I
grief,
haven't
Prpl.
Yeah,
What
thought
a
about my
terrible
grandma
person.
saying
No,
Pokemans
I
because I
just
blocked it
can't
out of my
believe-
memory. My grandma was just at my house, the other night. She made dinner.
And you still didn't think about her. Wow.
I'm going to teach my grandmother until I like the wrong name of my kid, just so she gets it
Oh,
wrong
come
every time
on.
my kid comes to visit her.
That is
Wait, hold
so
on, hold on.
mean.
Real quick. Jitto in the chat says this is the first time we discussed Lego today. We've mentioned Lego a bunch of times in this
It's- it's-
conversation.
Literally the
It's-
entire conversation.
Literally the entire conversation. Yeah, we've mentioned Lego in some way, shape, or form. We strayed a little bit, but this is not the first time we've mentioned the word Lego.
This is awful. Help me.
Yeah, I want to make sure I teach my kids' grandparents that, or my parents. I want to teach my parents, or tell my parents
Right.
the wrong name for my kids.
Your
just
kids' grandparents.
Are you gonna tell both of them a different name?
That would cause some drama.
I don't know if
That'd
they
be
need to
very
argue
dramatic.
anymore.
I mean, like, listen, let's be real. His parents are divorced, so they're probably not gonna just come at the same time.
that would work so well. They're both.
It would work so well.
They're separated. That's great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If they ever have a conversation about it, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, have you met up with Timmy this year?" And they'll be like, "Who? Timmy?"
No, it should be a name that like the nickname is the same, but like the actual name is way different. And whenever
Yeah,
you're
like
at the house,
Chris,
you're like,
Christian, Christopher, except
right, exactly, or like something crazy,
Interesting. I like
And then
it.
something
Steve,
crazy like that.
Stefan.
Yeah.
I'll
Steven.
make I'll make the middle name like I'll tell my mom that my kid's middle name is her first name, so she thinks like I named my kid after her. But then I'll tell my dad that the kid's middle name is his first name. So they
No,
both
actually,
they both think the kid is
okay.
named after them or something.
That's a good
Well, I
one,
mean,
actually.
you
That's
could
really good.
do what happens in my family and just have multiple middle names. I've got like 4 of them.
Yeah, but I won't
You
do
could
that.
also
though.
like name him like have their initials spell out a nickname, you know, like I don't know, like CJ or something, and then like the CJ is completely different. You tell your mom CJ stands for like, you know, Clementine Josephine. Then you tell your dad it stands for
Why not
like
just Jennings?
Clarice Jack.
Clarice Jack.
Clarice Jack.
Clarice Jack Jennings. You guys heard it here, folks. My daughter's name will be Clarice Jack Jennings.
Clarice Jack Jennings.
Is Clarice even a girl's name? Because that's the name of Gladio's
I
dad.
don't think Clarice is a name.
I mean,
I've
it's
heard
the
Clarice
name of
is a name.
Gladio's dad.
I've heard
It's a
of
name.
Clarice, but not like
I've heard of
Clarence.
Clarence, not Clarice.
I've heard of Clarice.
What is Clarence?
Yeah, I've heard of Clarice as well.
How do you spell
I've never heard of
Clarence?
that.
That's a.
CLARUS.
I think it's similar to like Clara.
the-
It's like the same like thing.
I'm gonna put a JH after the C, just so I can tell them that that's silent. That way, whenever the teacher has to call their name, they always mispronounce it.
Clarice.
They'll see it and be like, Clarice.
Clarence Jack.
You are so mean.
They will have to live with that baggage for the rest of their life.
Tell your
This is like next level trolling. This is like a level above the rest.
Listen, I'm looking forward to the
awful.
Daddy of One channel. I really am.
Oh my god.
Clarice Jack knows it all. Or something like that. They'll be like, that would be the name of this. She'll go on like a Disney show talking about it.
I took a drink and I almost had stuff come out of my nose. Oh my god.
Oh no, that's the
Is
worst.
that what that really gross noise was?
Yeah, that's what that
the
really
worst
gross
feeling.
noise was. Oh man, why was it?
Okay.
Clarence, oh my god.
Clarence Jack.
Jack. Oh man.
Never forget Clarence Jack. The sacrifice will live on forever.
The new Lil Johnny.
Y'all.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh,
Some
all
Lego,
right.
am I right?
Let's get right into the news, shall we?
Oh,
On our news docket this week, we only have 2 pieces of information that's really interesting. The first is the Unikitty show that just aired a sneak peek this last Friday, and I think the special preview episode aired on October 27th called Spooky Game. There is like 5 O's. so it's like actually-
skeletons.
Better have been actually spooky.
The episode synopsis says the Unikitty finds a haunted old board game, and the players will risk a curse to reach the finish line.
So it's a Ouija board.
Ouija.
Yes, but
Ouija. Luigi.
Luigi. It's a Waluigi. Waluigi.
if that is actually the board, I will start watching the show. What do you guys think of the Unikitty show? Do you have any
Didn't
opinions
see
on
it.
that?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I didn't even
No,
know
no,
it
I
came
mean,
out.
like, I'm just the concept. I'm just talking about the concept
The
of the
concept
Unikitty
seems
show.
cute. Like, it looks cute, and I actually follow one of the like storyboard artists on Tumblr, and I didn't even realize it. And like her style is like super duper cartoony. Var, I sent you some of her art before. It was like the glass animal stuff or whatever. I think, or was that? I don't remember.
That's
No,
the
yeah, it
same
was-
person?
I think so. Yeah,
No way.
Mhm.
Are you sure?
I think so.
You should link this person so we
That
actually
person
can talk
drew
about
some
them.
pretty inappropriate
Shout out.
stuff, so that's pretty interesting.
What?
Oh, never mind. Never mind. That's
Don't
not
link
linked.
it.
It's not linked though. Cut that. We're gonna plug
Well,
and play.
I never even
We're
said
gonna-
like really what their name was.
I know. I was gonna ask you to do that, and that's why I'm like, well, it's actually not. We're gonna cut that from the. But no, yeah, that's actually really cool. I'm always down for another Lego TV show. I do feel like Unikitty is a very interesting choice. Not the first person I would have said like, hey, give a TV show to this character from Lego. But I mean, you know,
I like that it's 2D animated and not 3D.
Same.
Yeah, I
I
feel like
think the
it
2D
fits-
animation actually really works for this.
Yeah, it fits the really cutesy style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Oh, whenever
Just like we
all I
want
have to say.
Bionicle to be a really cutesy show.
Or
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
going through their blog and I can't find the inappropriate stuff.
I mean, I'm not it's like drug stuff, not like other stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a different blog.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just like talking about the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's language and
blog
other stuff.
No, there might be language, but yeah, their main blog is like totally fine. Like the first few pictures are
glad to hear that.
It's an interesting
Thumbs
show.
up.
I will probably see it. I don't know when. I appreciate them trying different things for things that aren't necessarily a current LEGO theme. That's probably the biggest difference this is compared to most things they've done. There's no Unikitty theme ongoing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how it performs.
Actually, I think this might be a different artist.
Shut up with the artist!
In the end, it didn't even matter.
No, I'm going through the thing and I realized I can't find the post that said, "Oh yeah, I work on Unikitty now." So I think it was a different artist.
You're
on fire today, Prpl. I'm glad you could join us for this episode.
I didn't even want to be here.
I'm really impressed with your performance.
Thanks.
I think you've done well.
I don't.
Sorry.
Oh, another thing I could do to my kid is make them think that insults are compliments.
Oh.
Well, that's just
it means peace among worlds.
If they ever find a significant other that actually tolerates them, just like they'll think, oh, the key to a woman's heart is to insult her.
Insult them.
Oh my god, no.
Man.
As a woman, I can tell you, no, never. It's the exact opposite of what you should be doing.
You monster!
Pull the chair out from under them. Close the door on them as they're walking in.
Oh my god.
Oh, true chivalry.
I hope you remain single for a long time.
Man. I want it to happen. Listen, I can be single all I want. I can still adopt.
I'm gonna
the whole point is that we're gonna get orphans.
I'm gonna warn child services about you.
To be fair, Prpl, you do have a recording of him saying what exactly he's going to do on the internet. There's a link in this episode. Yeah, I'm telling you, it works.
In the Friday the 13th episode.
Oh boy, that one.
That one was definitely.
That was a journey to edit. I'll tell you that much.
No, we've had some pretty interesting recordings this past month between this one and the last one, or that Friday the 13th.
When BIONICLE goes away, TTV shall play. As the saying goes.
The real TTV After Dark.
Yeah, exactly.
We should totally do one of those Patreon exclusive or something.
Let's do it. That'd be comedy.
I've wanted to do one for a very long while.
Dude,
but yeah.
Unikitty looks neat. It's got a nice little style. It looks cute. I want to see some of it. Yeah.
People like the Mixel sets or the Mixel thing a lot. I remember
Mixels is weird. I think it aimed to a very younger crowd. I think it aimed to a crowd that didn't quite have access to the full-blown internet just yet. And as Mixels ended, that crowd has slowly gotten access to the internet and the ability to comment and leave comments on videos. Because
bring back Mixel.
Because we have a lot of people who are if you go the comments for our top 10 weirdest Mixels, for instance,
a lot of offended people.
I think people, for whatever reason, think the term "weird" is a very insulting and degrading term.
Mixels are weird by nature, by concept. They're designed to be weird.
Yeah. They think weird is a negative thing, so I don't know. Which is why I believe it caters to a very younger crowd, which makes sense that they're getting offended over it. But it's pretty entertaining whenever I scroll through our comments and I see someone who's just using words that you wouldn't think someone who's at that age would know yet.
What?
Yeah.
To describe their frustration. Yeah.
People, Kids are really mad nowadays.
Dude, people in general are really mad nowadays.
I feel everyone's really on edge. I'm on edge nowadays.
Yeah, you are. You yell at me for messing up your BrickFeed intro.
All the time. Every recording.
Pretty much.
Fail. This is a good transition, I feel, from the Mixels crowd into something of older geared, like Ninjago or something. For Unikitty's going to fit that role pretty well. So I caught me off guard how popular Mixels was. That I just was completely disconnected from that audience completely, and I literally had no idea how that was turning out. So that's always really interesting to me. I thought Mixels actually was kind of not a success. To be honest,
an
I thought it was
LEGO theme. I had written off the TV
show.
Yeah,
I liked it. Right. I thought that, the TV show especially, I was like, oh, okay, it's just kind of a weird, non sequitur thing. I'm not going to pay attention to it. But, there you go.
I just want to point out how appreciative I am of putting that hardcore metal at the end of that Unikitty intro. That is not something you'd expect to be there.
I was not aware of this.
It is pretty funny. You've got all the characters headbanging to it. That's great.
I like that they're stretching it a little bit. They're stretching where they can go with that character.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
all right. Well, the next thing on our docket is the Taj Mahal is actually getting re-released. And it's interesting. They are specifically phrasing this as a re-release. So it's not like a new version of a set.
Yeah.
Which I think they did that after the Death Star controversy.
I think, if I recall correctly, I read that there was only one different piece in this re-release.
And it's a brick separator, probably.
Yeah.
So.
I actually heard that it was not the brick separator. But I'm unsure. But yeah, there's only one piece difference between this and the old and the version that was released before. So that's pretty interesting.
Pretty much
to be
the
fair,
only thing.
more than the Death Star. It's like a closer. It basically is a straight up re-release. But go on, Meso.
Yeah. With this said, this is like a big precedent shift. I remember a lot of people way back when, specifically for BIONICLE, coming from a BIONICLE fan, were always like, "Hey, let's re-release," the older sets or whatever, and everyone laughed at them and said, "This is so stupid. Lego would never ever re-release an old set just completely as is." I was like, well, do that now. Of course, it's a very special case, but could this be something Lego does more and more and more in the future with their backlog of old sets? Wouldn't that be interesting?
It would
bring
be.
back
now
the Gecko Bird. I never got that set, and I really want it.
It would have to be a big flagship.
Honestly, what I could see I'm going to continue my thought, but I don't actually see this happening. Just so a clarification. But 2021's coming up soon, and it's going to be the 20th anniversary of BIONICLE. Just lump all the OG Toa, into a thing, sell it for $60.
Yeah.
Man.
That's,
I could totally do this.
Easy profit right there.
I do think this was definitely in response to Star Wars. Now that this precedent has been set, they have a gateway to re-release basically whatever.
The classic ones. Yeah.
I want to know what the sales are like for this year right now.
Falcon.
I'm really curious because I was wondering this before, but Lego has been really knocking it out of the park this year in terms of sets and variety in sets and everything. The Ninjago wave, for instance, is one of the best waves, a single wave of any of their licensed themes.
The Falcon must have gotten them so
Millennium
much
Falcon,
money.
yeah, and the Ninjago City and stuff. My thing was for me personally as a Lego fan, there's too much stuff that I want, and it's almost exhausting. Where things will pop up and it's oh, I want that, but I'm saving up for this. And then the next day they'll release some news about something else, and it's there's actually good set fatigue right now for me, where it's there's so much stuff that I want that I know I can't get, and I wonder what that looks like in terms of marketing and sales figures and whatnot, because I'm sure I'm not the only one here, and especially for sets like the Death Star and the Taj Mahal, which are these giant, massive sets that as soon as they aren't available anymore, it's going to be impossible to get without a giant markup, from aftermarket sellers.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I wonder what the state of that is.
It's also the theory that this Taj Mahal thing's being done to directly combat bootleggers, specifically Lepin and stuff who rip off old set models and then re-release them. Putting that back on the market from Lego could take away from that kind of thing.
That makes sense. It seems like they're kind of battling the bootleg market a lot recently.
Yeah.
This is a perfect transition into the next point.
Not if you
I know we're not finished with this yet, but I know I just want to
She has a point.
I want to lead into it, Prpl. Okay.
Then just lead into it. Don't say, "Oh, this would be really good."
No, because we're not done. We're not done with this. We're not done with this yet. We're not done with this conversation.
The argument is now completely destroyed it. So.
Yeah, thanks, Prpl.
You're welcome.
I mean, you didn't have to respond to her.
Lego has been recognized as a well-known trademark in China. I'm posting this thing here. This is a thing that was actually published on.
It's a major blow.
It's a major deal for Lego, and it's only for China, especially because of how China is very different when it comes to trademarks and how they handle that kind of things. So, what? Oh my god! Oh man!
Holy crap!
Oh man!
That is even better.
And Jitto in the live studio audience just said, "Var, give your kid a weapon and tell him it's real Lego."
Well, how could you do this, Jiddle?
I'm doing that. That is so funny.
This is actually way. That's way better.
That's
too, because,
way
like,
better.
That's way better.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Oh
funny.
man.
Oh my
Did I
god.
give my kid like that stupid bootleg I bought a while ago?
I can already see like getting caught by the authorities and being taken to court and being like, so this man has given his kid lepin, and everybody's like, it sounds like some bad disease or something.
Like leprosy. Oh man.
Oh man. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah.
Right,
Anyhow,
yes.
Lego totally did that, and now they're in a better position, quote unquote, to fight lepin. And I'm pretty sure that means they're just going to start cracking down on all the bootlegs in China.
That's pretty
But
great.
it's a pretty big deal for Lego because the Chinese market has been a giant market they've been trying to break into for a while. And now that they have a better place to get rid of the bootlegs, that means that their own quality products will be more prominently seen everywhere.
It
But,
is
like,
pretty
it ties-
fantastic.
yeah. Ties back into what you're saying, though, Vi, with like, you know.
Yeah.
I actually do think that another big deal Lego was trying to circumvent with with Taj Mahal being re-released is the afterhand market. If you think about how much of the afterhand market is around buying sets, saving them up, you know, and then like selling them at a markup, you know, 2-3 years later, that's a huge deal. If Lego can like subsidize those purchases, without basically any new work, because I don't know how much is going to Taj Mahal. I believe the one piece, how much did that take them to really get, right? They didn't really redesign anything. They're just taking it out of the vault, printing the same bricks, shipping it out. So that has to be way cheaper, and it is going to sell a lot of money, and it's going to obliterate any
money.
Taj Mahal markups for the next 2 years.
I just got that.
I'm sorry, John, continue.
Your
No,
point,
that's it. I'm
sir.
done. I'm done, Prpl. You made me done.
Okay.
Yes.
Laugh. Go for it.
Finish him.
Fatality.
Yeah.
No, yes, that's true.
Very, very neato news for sure.
It could be dangerous because I predict a year from now us going like, well, Lego's announced their 6th consecutive Star Wars re-release.
Oh god.
You know,
Yeah.
It'll
They
be
need that.
interesting to see
They
how far
definitely
they
need the
take it.
like.
It is definitely setting a precedent or something. So
President?
Yeah, but
Yes, a
President
precedent.
Lego. But I do understand the logic behind doing it, particularly in the short term, and I actually support it, especially for this case. It's a very unique set that it's cool to have it re-released. Talk to me in a year. We'll see what they do with it. They may not do anything. They may have restraints.
Are there any sets you guys want to see released from Lego?
aside from BIONICLE? Not
really, to be honest.
I want to see some of
I
those
wish
like
X was
really
here.
old. I want to see some of the really old Viking sets re-released.
Yeah,
like
I
they had
wouldn't
like
mind,
dragons
like-
and stuff.
I wouldn't mind some of the Harry Potter stuff, but like that's apparently going to be there might be new Harry Potter sets.
Yeah, like the only thing I can think of that I would want to see re-released are things they've just re-released. Like they just did the new Millennium Falcon. They just did the Taj Mahal. These are the big like hallmarks, you know, that have been
Death
like
Star.
Yeah, the Death Star. These are the big things that people have been like, yeah, you got to get those. They're the best Lego sets ever, or something like that. But you know, they're out right now, so
yeah.
it's like if they re-release it now, it's less likely for me to be able to get it.
I know there's a lot of themes people always say they want to see back, like Johnny
Yeah.
Thunder, Black Tron.
Yeah.
But like there isn't a
Themes are
singular
different.
big flagship set from those waves that I could ever realistically see Lego releasing because they wouldn't have enough spectacle, if you know what I mean. It would have to
Right,
be a really
it must
big
be the
deal.
theme attached to it. And there is also a thing where, like, up until a certain point, a lot of Lego sets that were made like a decade or two ago just aren't as good as sets
Yeah.
made nowadays. And so it's kind of disappointing. Like, there are nostalgic themes for me. Like, I loved Alpha Team, but if I got an Alpha Team set today, I would be like, oh, it's actually not that great. It's not as well designed
yeah,
as
it's
well.
so
You know?
disappointing. Like that Exoforce
Yeah.
set I got.
Yeah, exactly.
The Blade
That's a great
Titan.
example.
It's like, yeah, Exoforce is a great line. I loved it as a kid, but I opened up that Blade Titan and built it and was like, man, this was
Basic.
lackluster at best.
Yeah.
And it's
Just
like,
comparatively, man. Totally.
Lego's evolved a lot in just a short amount of time that older sets don't hold the same value to me.
Even just the minifigures, like those
Yeah,
things need to be
especially
updated
the
because the
minifigures.
minifigures
I
are so good now.
Really dislike the old minifigure styles. All the ones now are great, so it's just like
Never forget the Harry Potter minifigure.
Oh god, please forget those.
no.
Please.
Those were weirdly bad. Like they were out of character bad, uncharacteristically bad comparatively to the other minifigures of that time frame. I don't know what happened, but the faces are just so weird. But you look at like Star Wars minifigures and those look okay. Kind of.
I don't know what happened.
It's really strange. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's
kind of all it for the news. Yeah, we're kind of like done here. Do you guys want to do an extra mock about X?
There was a mock I saw, but it was kind of a construction hybrid. Let me go see if I can dig it up.
I don't have anything offhand.
I have something offhand I'd like to talk about. If that's cool.
Go for it.
It's on our boards, actually.
The additional mock segment begins.
Now, this is a little biased because I know the user who made this, TheMugbearer, but this is actually really cool. So for the month of October, they kind of took inspiration from this artist. I don't know how to say it. Ksenolog. It's Ksenolog. And so you can see the entire topic is the actual robot like paintings and things this guy did, and then mock creations of it in LDD. And these are really good.
Let me see these.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
Whoa.
Right? How great is this? This is super cool.
This is a really cool idea.
Legit top tier.
Man, that's really clever.
Imagine being the artist. Wait, I'm assuming he's not the same person, right? The artist that drew the painting.
No, it's not.
All right.
Seeing all your models recreated in that style.
Yeah, like all your drawings recreated in Lego. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
and it's like
the biggest.
It's a really good. The MugBearer does some really great.
All these cannons.
Yeah, I know, right? Really great like LDD stuff, and so it's just been really cool to see this. Like, I love seeing like the inspiration and then like seeing the actual thing.
Hold up, daily. What's the number? Sorry, I lost the number when I was scrolling.
I think it's for the month of October, so I think there were 31 of them done.
Dailybots 703. I can't tell. How many mixel joints? Because I know some of these use mixel joints and some of these use hinge joints to make up the legs, and I'm curious because it looks like there's actual like regular contraction proportioned articulation on a lot of these figures. And I'm curious because it looks like one of those has mixel joints for knees and ankles and hips, which would be incredible because these are even armored well.
Whoa.
That's what gets me about all these. Like, Dailybot 710 with the giant shoulder cannon.
The giant shoulder cannon is really awesome.
There's a lot of cannons here, a lot of guns. And it
Oh
works
yeah,
very
and
well.
I like the form is carried well into this kind of brick built style. Like you can actually see the proportions and like the style that the artist had is directly carried into the way the mock is shaped, which a lot of mechs do kind of like they do end up having this form to them that isn't like as sleek or as iconic as an artist would normally
But
make them. And so this is like
a
an art project first.
translation almost.
Yeah,
Like,
no, honestly,
This is
yeah,
a
it
very
really is.
faithful concept art to production.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Prpl, which one's your favorite? I'm gonna make you talk.
Ooh. I really like the police light one. Like
That's number 27 or number 724. Day 27.
Let me reopen it real quick.
It's 724.
Yeah,
Wow,
no, it is.
Wow, Prpl.
I tabbed out, so it's like, oh yeah, I remember this one, therefore I must have liked it. But yeah, I like that one. It's kind of neat. It's actually
My favorite's a tie between 675 or 710 with the massive cannon. Like the
say which day it
largest
is
cannon.
because it's organized by day, so I can actually scroll and see it.
Either day 13 or day 16. Because
13 or 16.
13 has like
pretty
the
cool, too.
giant cannon,
13's good.
but 16 has this like
So many mocks,
more
dude.
traditional. Yes,
There's
honest,
so
I'm
many
so,
of them. I wish we had more time to talk
I'm
about
so
them.
like I keep staring at the art instead of the mocks themselves. I really like this art style.
nice.
Wow. Fair enough, though. Yeah.
I would say 15. Day 15, 702 is my favorite out of them, just because of like the form that's carried along with it. Like that pose is really great, and like how it's shaped
I
is
like
really
day
cool.
14.
Yeah. There was a mock
And
I saw.
10's good
that,
too.
Like,
Go on.
oh wait, no, it was gonna jump gears a little bit. Was there anything else you wanted to say about these?
No.
No, that's that's
that's about
basically.
it.
Are
I
you
think-
jumping gears completely?
I think
No,
day
I was gonna post another mock.
day 8 is my
Okay.
favorite out of them all. So
Day 8?
Yeah.
Let's see. I need to refresh myself on what that was. Ooh, okay, I forgot about that one. I like that bayonet.
yeah,
I don't know what's so funny. The massive hulking gun cannon with a tiny little bayonet. It's so awesome, but so, like, impractical.
I actually think this is one where the mock looks better than the art.
Heck yeah. It
Yeah.
has, like, really good shaping, and yet still manages to be faithful, but also improve it a little bit.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, this one's not as complex, but it's from our... We know him very well from BrickFeed, Bricks of Awesome, but on Flickr he's Anthony Wilson, the Secret
yes.
Walrus. This one's it's not a super large scale. I just wanted to post it and highlight a few really cool things
Okay.
about it. It was a Halloween mock called The Wanderer.
Oh
And-
man,
Oh
I
man,
don't
the
know.
mask.
The mask was the
that is
biggest thing.
cool.
that
I
is
don't
a
know
really creative use of that
I don't know
mask.
how he achieved that look, but like
He just
Halloween
turned the
might be
mask
over,
upside down.
but,
Real talk,
I
I
mean,
think
it's
Bricks of
cool.
Awesome is one of my favorite mockists right now. I just I
he does so
love
good on both
everything
large,
he does. Oh
both
my god,
large and small scale. He just creates like these
so
incredible things.
good, so creative.
And he has another one of those like torso builds. I dub it like the Retinance style because he's where I first saw
Dude,
it, where
I
you
love
just like
Retinance.
overlap a lot of stuff to form like these
yeah,
really,
yeah.
Like a clothing,
really
yeah,
clever
yeah.
shapes. So
Yeah,
I just saw
no,
that
I
and liked
totally
it.
love them.
This actually reminds me of another mock that I saw from Bricks of Awesome that I
Oh, boy.
freaking
Go for it, go for it.
loved. His it's just the Harbinger
Yes!
is so cool.
What?
Oh my god, that was so good.
I've
Isn't
never
that
seen this
so
before.
cool?
Whoa.
Dude, it was posted to the boards.
Whoa. Yeah, I
That
mean, yeah, I
face.
just
The
I must
head
have
is
missed
just like
it.
where
The head
do
is
you
what
even
gets me.
think of doing something like it's so striking, like it's so simple,
Yeah.
and there's obviously thought went into it, but it's like it's minimalistic almost. It's like it's
Yeah.
it conveys exactly what it needs to convey, and it's almost like it's contrasting the kind of over complex design of the torso itself and this really simplistic head. It leaves such a cool impression.
And it also has
Yeah,
very
a cool
creative
shape.
non-parts usage.
I've never seen a head like that.
Non-traditional parts usage, like the Takadak's head, and they use a crata to form up the bulk of the torso.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
That's so cool, dude. Oh my gosh. Our construction is showing. We're actually able to talk about like parts usage
I was
here.
just thinking about like now we're like, oh, okay, now let's actually talk about the parts used in this. I can actually
I
actually
want to
know
go
what I'm
back
talking
to
about.
like those mechs we spent a while talking about. I want to like see deconstructed photos of those.
Same.
Because
Same. I would like to see
they're
that,
onto
yeah.
something. I focused on the joint thing, but like the more I looked at them, he uses both CCBS, hinge joints, and mixel joints to create those, and it all flows like seamlessly. And I want to see that cracked open, so see the internals. But
See all the
Mocking's
guts
great.
inside? No, totally.
yeah, basically.
No, Bricks of Awesome is great, and also the Mugbearer did a fantastic job. Both of these guys, you check them out. They're on our boards. We'll put the link into the description. I think they have like links to their actual like Tumblrs and Flickrs and everything on the actual topic. So go check them out. But just the amount of talent we have in the like community always astounds me.
Yeah,
For sure.
people
It's
who
like-
can like
it's
make
insane.
good stuff are fascinating because it's just like, how do you do that?
It's not even
Weapon-
just like good mocks either. It's when it conveys something. Like there's more to
Right.
it than just it's a cool figure. It's like there's actually
Yeah.
like the Bricks of Awesome when I linked it. There's something about it that's just more than it being. There's a story behind that. There's a story behind that character. I feel like you want to know what the heck is going on with the Harbinger thing. Like, what is that? What?
Yeah, it's like eerie sci-fi and stuff. Like this
Yeah.
guy
It's
could be like
it's
some
like a
sort of like
sculpture.
yeah, like this guy could be some sort of like Grim Reaper or something, but like for aliens, or like
Yeah.
you're walking on like the surface of Mars and it's like all dusty and stuff, and then you just see like a glowing like diamond like that in
Right,
the
yeah.
Yeah,
dust.
because
and it's
like
whoa.
everyone has their own like every planet has their own Reaper, and then he's the Mars Reaper, and that has nothing to do with the Smock. I'm just throwing out the thing.
That Mahal
Okay.
Carvage is like what I would want Destiny villains to be like the darkness.
Yeah, for sure.
So good.
So I was going through more. I really like Bricks of Awesome. So it was just like I was going through his Flickr and stumbled upon a mock that I hadn't seen before.
Oh boy.
And look at this.
Okay.
All right, it's loading. It's loading.
Undertale fans.
Whoa,
Man.
Is that Sans? That's incredible.
Look at that skull. Look
That's
at
a
that.
pretty crazy
That
skull.
looks
dude.
so cool.
That's
So good.
amazing.
As a skull aficionado, you get a thumbs up.
Oh gosh. Oh
What can
my
I
gosh.
say, dude? Leopard fans are talented people.
Okay. All right. Mesonak is Var's kid confirmed.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Dude, I am just. I keep going through this flicker,
Okay,
and I
one
keep
more.
finding
We're gonna
things.
have to wrap it up. One more.
Dude, look at that!
It's a
Oh,
That's
man.
So cool.
That is really cool.
Neato.
It's so black.
Prpl, did you not play Limbo?
3 Shadowy, 5 me. Limbo's
I
such
love
a
how he
great
did that.
game.
Just looking at the text too. Look at how he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the B.
That is top notch. Whoa.
All right. We are gonna have to wrap up here.
Such atmosphere. Really, wow.
I know. Thanks for listening, guys, to the BrickFeed Podcast. As always, you can find more of our stuff by going to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the channel, or go to our Patreon at patreon.com/the channel to support what we do here on the channel. You can also see the mocks we just talked about, as well as a ton of other mocks on our message boards at sports.ttvchannel.com. We actually made a pretty recent update where you can go browse through the Lego Creations forum, which is where people post all their Lego stuff. And all the photos are like automatically embedded in line, so you can kind of like, you know, have a good view of what you're looking at and kind of like click on the ones that interest you. So check that out. It's a new feature we've just added. We'll see you guys next week for another exciting episode of the BrickFeed Podcast. I'm John,
I'm Var.
I'm Meso.
And I'm Prpl.
and this was BrickFeed. Goodbye.
And I don't actually plan on ruining my child, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Parents
all.
out there.
No,
It's
cut
okay.
it before that.
Parents, it's okay.
No, CPS. That's not true.
No,
He's gonna do it.
It's all jokes.
He's gonna do it.
I would never do that. Anyway.